Radio. I'm Ken, and today we are doing match 3 of our Monster Madness series. Today we're going into the Clone Wars. We're going to be looking at Republic fleets, and we have 2 of them. We have Bail Organa, who's designed by Edhc, and an Admiral Tarkin list designed by Scott Parker. As usual, we're going to do 2 games. First one you're going to see completely on film here. I'm going to go through it playing both of them with the robot. And then Edhc, who's the designer of the robot and one of the competitors today, will also be flying his fleet, and we'll give you a recap on that match. So let's get to both fleets and then right into the action.
Edhc has given us a 295-point list with Bail Organa as the commander. Bail Organa is on a Venator 2 with Clone Navigation Officer, Local Fire Control, SPAT weapons, thermal shields, ordnance pods, XI-7 turbolasers, and the Resolute title. There is a second Venator 2 also with Clone Navigation Officer, Local Fire Control, SPAT, thermal shields, ordnance pods, XI-7 turbolasers, and the Tranquility title. Coming in at 295 points, we have a Admiral Tarkin list brought to us by Scott Parker. Tarkin is on a Venator 1 with Weapons Liaison, Local Fire Control, Entrapment Formation, DBY-827, Heavy Turbo Lasers, and the Resolute title. There is a second Venator 1 with Weapons Liaison, Local Fire Control, Take Evasive Action, and DBY-827, Heavy Turbo Lasers. Small Squadron Contingent, Plo Koon is leading 2 V-19 Torrents. Both fleets come in at 295 fleet points. The die was rolled and Tarkin got the ability to choose first player. Bail's objectives are Surprise Attack, Fleet Being, and Solar Corona. Tarkin chooses Solar Corona. Reasoning behind this, Surprise Attack offers too much opportunity to lose a ship, and Fleet Being stands to keep the opposing Venators alive a lot longer. Here we see the obstacle deployment. Most of them are scattered in the lower right-hand side. Speaking of sides, Tarkin is on the left side of your screen, Bail is on the right. Solar Corona is placed at the bottom. Turn 1. Admiral Tarkin issues out a nav token to both Venators. After movement, not much has happened, although Bail's Venators are now pointing in at the non-Tarkin ship. Plo Koon and his fighter escort are also poised to attack the front of Bail's ship. Turn 2. Tarkin issues a concentrate fire command, and the first attack is now underway. Tarkin's secondary Venator fires at long range into Bail's flagship. The 3 damage rolled after using both the dial and token is braced and redirected. Movement places this ship in close proximity to Bail. Bail Organa uses a repair token to gain 4 engineering points, replacing some of the lost shields. Firing unobstructed into the starboard side of the Venator with its SPAT, 6 damage is braced to 3, leaving the side and rear shields at 1 each. Continuing the barrage, another 3 damage strikes the forward shield, receiving 1 in return from a salvo. Ordnance pods come into play, knocking one of the V-19s to 4 hull. Using the nav dial, Bail reduces his speed to 2, looking to make another significant hit on the next turn. Admiral Tarkin activates next, maneuvering for the next round. Banking a concentrate fire token to refresh the SPAT, Tranquility in Bail's fleet fires its ignition shot into the Venator 1. Both this and the follow-up side shot are obstructed, dealing a sum total of only 2 damage. One of those does break into the hull, though. During the squadron phase, Plo Koon and one of the V-19s successfully attack Bale's Venator. The V-19 is salvoed back, reducing its hull to 3. Turn 3. Admiral Tarkin's fleet spends tokens activating Entrapment Formation and Take Evasive Action. Activating first and not needing a nav command dial, Tarkin leverages weapons liaisons to change his command to a concentrate fire. This attack hits Bale's Venator for 3 damage, which is redirected to the rear, eliminating that shield. The second attack deals an additional 2 damage, removing the starboard shield. A salvo attack back causes 1 damage. Unable to find a good position, Tarkin lands on both the station and a debris field, taking 2 shields off the port side. Tranquility assaults the Venator 1 at medium range, obstructed, causing an additional hull damage. Ordnance pods do 1 against the V-19 that has been untouched. Movement puts his ship over an asteroid field, dealing a blinded gunner's critical prior to the SPAT token going down. Bale's flagship is hit again from the side of the Venator, 5 damage from close range, reducing the 4 shield to 0 and dealing 3 internal hull hits. The subsequent movement also hits an asteroid, gaining a thruster control malfunction. Bail Organa uses his repair dial and a token to regain 2 of the lost hull points before striking back at the enemy ship. Obstructed, this shot only deals 1 damage. The return salvo, however, damages the hull, eliminating the repairs done earlier. Bale loses a salvo token due to injured crew. Firing out at front at fighters and using ordnance pods directly after, Plo Koon winds up being uninjured, and the 2 escorts are at 2 and 3 hull hits. Return squadron fire during the squadron phase does an additional 2 damage to Bale's ship. Turn 4. Once again, Admiral Tarkin leverages the 2 fleet commands and issues out more nav tokens. His Venator 1 ally repairs 2 hulls before taking shots at Bail Organa. The first shot out the side deals 3 damage, including a coolant discharge critical. Bale's salvo hits back hard, although with a full suite of defense tokens, it is able to minimize all damage. The close-range rear shot, however, destroys Bale's flagship. Unable to use the salvo due to the coolant discharge critical suffered, no return damage is done. The remaining capital ship, Tranquility, attacks squadrons, destroying the 2 V-19s. Movement occurs, no additional shots are fired. Turn 5 is full of high-speed turns for Tarkin's fleet. All ships manage to keep themselves out of range. Turn 6 is more of the same, maneuvering and no shots fired. Bale's ship has been destroyed, 2 V-19s have been destroyed, all of the ships remain on the table. Second game, run by Edhc. This game, Solar Corona is also chosen. Tarkin is on the top of the screen, Bale on the bottom. Solar Corona is on the right-hand side. As we see at the start of turn 2, all ships remain in a rather tight formation. This holds throughout the second turn as well. 2 of the opposing ships are now head-to-head, ready to attack. Tarkin attacks Tranquility using its front arc and squadrons to deal significant damage to the front shields. Coming in from the flank, Bail Organa attacks Tarkin using his side spat and unleashing a forward barrage at the other Venator. He directs his clones to reduce speed and circle around for another attack. The injured Venator with a weapons liaison fires back at Bail Organa and begins to arrange for double arcs in the next round. Tranquility uses this opportunity to fire everything it has at Admiral Tarkin. Having a perfect double arc opportunity, the spat and forward guns reduces his Venator to only 3 hull. The return salvo strips all of Tranquility's remaining shields. Turn 4. Admiral Tarkin attacks Tranquility twice, taking it down to 4 hull. The brace token was lost, using thermal shields on both attacks. Returning fire during its activation, Tranquility destroys Tarkin's ship with its spat. The second shot out of the front strips shields, but also allows the salvo from the Venator to destroy the Tranquility. 2 ships remain to circle and determine which fleet will move on to the next round. The weapon liaison's Venator opens up its double arc shots, removing shields and dealing a hull hit to Bail's, Organa's Venator. During Bail's activation, it is able to destroy and subsequently table Tarkin's ally, using spats and front arc armaments. The enemy salvos spend out all of Bail's defense tokens, leaving him on 2 hull, and fortunately out of the range of enemy squadrons.
So we had 2 rather crazy games and completely opposite in terms of which one wound up winning. So let's wind up getting to the scores. In Game 1, Admiral Tarkin winds up taking it, scoring 163 to Bail's 24. Margin of victory is 139 points. Biggest victory here was destroying Bail. Moving on to the second game, Edhc puts together a slightly different deployment. And here's what we wind up seeing. Bail tables Admiral Tarkin. Tarkin only manages to take out 1 of the Venators on Bail's side, allowing Bail to win by 168 points. So, putting the set of matches together, we have Bail Organa with 324 points and Admiral Tarkin with 295. Margin of victory of 29 points goes to Bail Organa and Edhc's fleet. So congratulations to Ed, you are moving into the next round. So I think the difference is very likely pretty much how we set up the robot, how deployment wound up working out, and all that is controlled by the robot and the roll of a die. So depending on how the luck comes out, hard to say how this winds up working, but it's fascinating to me to see how with the same 2 fleets we can have 2 completely different outcomes. One thing that I think we are going to do is Ed and I will get together. We'll do a whole video where we talk about how we set up the robot for each game, when do our decision making, and then maybe that'll provide some insight. But again, really interesting to see how the robot winds up working here. So tune in next week where we'll get to our last first round matchup. This still is going to be in the Clone Wars, but we're going to go to the Separatist side. And the 2 fleets we have will be a Kraken list brought to you by Fearix and TF-1726 brought to you by Zilius. Alright, if you enjoyed this matchup in alternate format, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and feel free to join us on Discord where you can talk to me, John, and Ed, who created our robot. Big shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for contributing to our channel. You make it possible for us to give you as much content as we can. Until next time, I'm Ken, and this is Ion Radio. going to get together, we're going to discuss all the matches, and get into all the games. I'm buzzing.